Okay, so we're going back to the very start of Java in this video. Java 1.x. Back to the beginning of Java. What's it like? Can you convert a modern Java application to compile and run in Java 1.x? How much work's required? What's involved? What's available? How fast will it run? Okay, so I'll look at tackling some of those questions at least in this video. And if there's interest, I'll look at the other questions in a future video or more detail in a future video. And if you're wondering, yes, that is a baby blanket and a pacifier on the Java icon there. You can see my artistic talents at work there, such as they are, which are pretty terrible. Okay, so before we go on, a little bit about Java and me. So I've been programming in Java since 2002, 2003. I went on a Java course in 2002, but couldn't complete it because they piled all this extra work on me and work had to cancel the course. So I started again in 2003, and that's when I've been programming in Java since 2003. And that was back in the Java 1.4 days. So I never started with, I've never seen anything before Java 1.4. I've never used Java 1.0 or 1.1, although on old floppy disks, I think I still have them. Because one company I worked at started programming in Java before version 1.0. They evaluated Java and was doing some programming in it just to see what it was like. And so I'm pretty sure I've still got the floppy disk with Java beta on it before 1.0. But anyway, I didn't start officially until 2003. And that was back in the days when my university was moving away from C++. And we looked at Eiffel and Python and Perl and Java and all these other languages. We had massive debates about which language to go for, and we ended up putting forward the pros and the cons for each language, and Java came out on top. The best for our students, the most widely used in industry, and the best for our students to learn. So Java came out the hands-on winner, and it was actually championed by a guy who was an extreme Macophile. He loved Mac computers and he hated Windows with a passion. And he really championed Java because then you could run and compile Java applications on Windows and Mac and Linux. Okay, so he really pushed for Java. He was so infinitely dead set on Java. He wouldn't consider anything else. Java was it and that's all. And I won't mention his name. But then, of course, the iPhone and the iPad came out and Steve Jobs banned Java because then people could install applications without going through Apple's walled garden, without Apple getting a percentage. And of course, some of those applications might not have been as secure as they should have been, or maybe they were malicious. So Steve Jobs banned Java from iPhone and the iPad. And so this guy at my university that really championed Java, this real staunch Mac supporter, an Apple supporter, he would never hear any criticism of an Apple product at all. He'd go into a rage or leave the room. All of a sudden, Apple had banned Java, his champion language, the language he'd been championing for the last 6 months. And so he had egg all over his face, and that was really quite funny. A funny time at the university. I still smile and laugh when I think about those days. how we championed Java, and then Java was banned from the iPhone and iPad, and he just went back to his room and basically didn't come out again. Anyway, I'm not going to mention any names, not going to embarrass anybody, but it was a funny time. And if anybody who knows me at all, who has ever known me, knows that I'm always tinkering and exploring and solving interesting problems. I'm always writing code, no matter whether it's day or night or midnight or early in the morning. I'm always tinkering and exploring and solving stuff. I always have done. Since I first touched my computer back in February 1980, it was like lightening up my arms, and it was love at first sight, and I've been addicted to programming ever since. And so that's sort of, and I've been programming professionally in Java since February 2016. I've been doing it for a full-time job for a company, and writing lots of Java apps for them. They're mostly Java desktop apps. We did try and move into the Java web apps, but my goodness, it's such a complicated minefield. And making Java secure and things, my goodness, we just couldn't get we're in a little regional town, 10 hours drive from a capital city, and we just could not get the security support or help that we needed. and nobody in our town knew anything about Java security or anything like that, and we couldn't attract anyone to town, or the company wouldn't spend the money to get people into town to train us. And so we've stayed clear of Java web apps for now. So it's mostly just Java desktop apps and a few console apps that we've developed. But it's me developing it. I've probably got about 30 Java desktop apps developed, nice GUI desktop apps developed, and probably about 20 of those are being used often in the company. 10 of them are used occasionally. Okay, the aims of this video are to get the earliest Java version of Java 1.x that I can, or at least the earliest stable version. I'll probably get, if version 1.0 is available, I'll get the latest stable version of that. If Java 1.1 is available, I'll get the latest stable version of that. Okay, for Windows. Okay, and back in the early days of Java 1, or even in the Java beta days before it was version 1.1 or 1.0, before they were released, Java was a very slow, in quotes, and it was a joke in industry. You know, lots of people would make jokes about Java. C++ programmers, C programmers, Holos programmers, all the other programmers would all make fun of Java. It was a laughing stock. But of course, it's not now. It's now become very powerful and much faster than it was. You know, it's become almost as fast, or if you believe Oracle's press releases, it's become as fast as native applications, compiled native applications. So. The early versions of Java will not work under Windows 10. There's no point even trying, because Windows 10 has removed the Windows 16 subsystem, so that's no longer part of Windows. So early Windows software won't run under Windows 10, and neither will DOS software. You've got to run it under emulation or in a virtual machine. So I'll be installing Java in a VirtualBox virtual machine, and then we'll set up TextPad to work with that early version of Java. And then I'll create a hello world program just to see if I can get it working. And then I'll explore some getProperty commands. These are commands in Java to get various properties about the virtual machine, the version number, and so on. And then we'll look at converting a simple modern Java app to version 1.0. So we're looking at converting a Java 8 application to a Java 1 application. So we're going back to the beginning. And I've wanted to do this for a long time. I've wanted to do this for a long time. So I finally got a bit of time, and I thought, yeah, let's do it. Let's have a bit of fun. And we'll also have a quick look at the Java docs. Okay, so I might not convert all of the app in this video. I'll probably just get it so it's running. The buttons will probably be non-functional, so I'll just get it so it's running in this video. And if there's interest, if people want me to go further and make it fully functional, then I could do that as well. But that'll be a subsequent video. I don't want this video to be too long, but we will look at the Java docs quickly as well. See what the Java docs were like back then. Okay, so we'll just get a hello world program working, some getProperty commands, and we'll just basically get the Java app running without the buttons being functional, or without anything being functional. A quick look at the Java docs, and that'll do for this video. Otherwise, it'll be too long. Okay, so let's go. Let's have some fun. Okay, so here I've got Windows XP running inside a VirtualBox virtual machine, and I've got it so the screen's minimized down to a small screen, so I'm recording just a small screen so the video is smaller. And so that's why all the icons are all crushed up and everything. It looks much nicer when you expand it full screen. But anyway, so just in case anybody's worried and screaming at the monitor, oh my God, he's got a Windows XP hooked up to the internet. No, of course I haven't. There's no network. Okay, so all the network stuff's disabled in VirtualBox for this machine because I'm not an idiot. Okay, I'm not going to hook a XP machine up to a internet, even if it was just for a throwaway VirtualBox demo. Okay, so anyway, let's just put everyone's mind at rest. Okay, so I'm here on the Oracle Java Archive website, and here you can download quite a few of the earlier versions. And I'm looking at Java SE. Java EE was later, Java ME was, Mobile Edition was later, Enterprise Edition was later, and Java FX, that came much later. It was after Swing. So we got all the versions back to Java 1.1. Okay, and when you click on Java 1.1, there's a whole lot of versions here, And the first, so that's Solaris. The first version that's available for Windows, or the most recent version of Java 1.1 that's available for Windows, is this one. So Java 1.1.8.10. That's the one for Windows, and it's for Windows 95, 98, 2000 NT. Windows 95, 98, wonderful operating systems. Windows 95, I'm going to do a video on that one day. Windows 2000 was an excellent operating system. NT, yeah, I used NT 3.5 a lot, 3.5 point something. Yeah, so it's back in the early days. And look at the size, 8.37 megabytes to download it. Okay, so the modern versions of Java SDK, the more recent versions are over 200 megabytes in size. This one here's only 8 megabytes. So that's really funny to see it back so small again. I'm certain that I've got earlier versions than this still, because even though I wasn't working with Java back then, I didn't work with Java till about 2006 or so, do any programming with it really. I'm pretty sure I've still got a couple of old floppy disks with versions before Java 1 on it, but I'd have to go and dig out the old floppy disks and then read them in and that sort of stuff, and I'll just stick with this one. 1.1.8's good enough. That's version 1. And if you scroll down further, there's the documentation as well. Just scroll down here. Below the JDKs, you get down to the document. There's the documentation. So there's the Japanese version, and there's the English version there, the Java docs for version 1.1. So I downloaded both those. I downloaded that, and I downloaded the 1.1.10 Windows binary, and all of the links are in the description. Okay, so all the links are in the description for all of this stuff. Okay, so here I am running Windows XP in VirtualBox, and I've copied over the earliest stable Java version, 1.1.8, version 10 of that, to my Windows XP install. And this is made for Windows 95 and NT and so on, but it should install under Windows XP on hopefully that. Also got the Java docs there, and and so let's install it, see what happens. Install, yes. Okay, it's going through the install. Looking good so far. 59%. Oh, okay. It's extracting quite big files. I think it's a 40 megabyte file inside there. Okay, still going. Yep, any second now. %. So it's got to be finished. Still 100%. Goodness me. Looks like it's having problems with something. Oh no. Strongly means you exit all Windows programs. Yep, righto. Has got the old style installer. These are how installers used to look. They used to have a banner screen behind there that fill up the whole window or whole page. It's just the style back then, and then they made it just so it's just the window you see, the little window. Next, yes. Install all that. Yep. I don't have the source code down. I don't think. No, I don't have the source code. So that'll do. And so that's it. 1.1.8. I suppose I want to read the README. Yeah. Copyright 2002. So it's obviously been updated since the version of Java was updated. Because this was back in 1996 or something, this version. They might have mid-date in the end. Yeah. So 1996 is when it was released originally. And they've updated their license since then. That's alright. All good. So let's have a look on our hard drive, see where it is. So it should be in Program Files. And then it should be a Java folder. Okay, so it's not there. HIJ. It's not there. Oracle didn't own it back then, so it's not Oracle. What about Sun? Not under Sun. Okay, let's do a search and see where Java's... Search for Java. Got to increase the window size a bit. I've got things shrunk down because I'm in Java. Search. No, none of those are Java. There's no Java C or Java.exe there. So where did it install itself? Oh, there it is. Okay, so it's in the root. It's off the root directory. C drive Java JDK. And so in the bin folder there should be the Java. There's Java, and Java C should be there. There's Java C, and there's a command for helping you create jar files or running jar files or supporting jar files. So they're all there, but they're only tiny, 6 kilobytes, and there's not much in the folder there. Goodness me, it's only tiny compared to now. The latest JDKs take up 400 megabytes of disk space, and this one here takes up, well, what's it take up? 14.6 megabytes. Okay, so yeah, so it's only tiny back then. So there we go, JDK's installed. And let's see if TextPad can recognize it. So this is a TextPad from, let's see, I registered TextPad, it would have been around about 2010. I bought a version of TextPad. And I haven't upgraded it since. I'm still using that same version because it does everything I need. And I also installed TextPad in the virtual machine, so that's there together with Oracle, with Java. And let's see if it can find Java. I don't think it will be able to. It won't be able to. Oh my goodness. It found him. Oh my goodness. Is that the right version of Java? Let's just do a quick program. Public static main string square brackets args, open curlies, close curlies, system dot out print line. Hello moose. Okay, and we'll save that as, I'll save it in that Java folder on my desktop. Desktop Java, there it is, and I'll call that hello world.java. Okay, so it's turn on the color coding, which is a good sign. Control 1, tools, external tools, compiled, okay, tools, external tools, run, and it's running fine. Okay, so we've got Java running on our machine. Okay. And I might also add some commands in to display the version to make sure we are running that version 1.1. I'm almost certain there's no other version of Java on this machine. There's none in here because we just searched. So it is that. Look, I'm amazed. TextPad from 2006 found the Java install for 1996. That's insane. So the guy who wrote TextPad's done a wonderful job there. Okay, and it still works for the latest versions of Java now. It doesn't work. I'm running the 32-bit version of TextPad. That's what I registered, and it doesn't work well with the 64-bit version of Java. But hey, 32-bit Java, it works great. So, and I tend to stay with Java 8. Now I'm still with Java 8 on my main machine, but here we're with Java 1.1. So that's amazing. We've got it running. So when this is the .class file, the bytecode file in my Java file. When I double click on it, it's opening a notepad. So let's just fix that. And of course, you've got to remember the way to do it with Windows XP. You don't just choose TextPad. You've got to go choose default program, select from a list, TextPad, and always. Make sure you click that, otherwise you'll be doing it each time. And click OK. That's fine. It's associated with TextPad now. That's good. There we go. Might just configure a few things. Preferences. I might just make it a bit more, the font a bit larger. Java font. Make it Courier New and make it 12 and make it bold. There we go. That's much better. Much more readable. And I've got line numbers turned on, that's fine. I think that's all we need. We could also configure macros for compiling and running, but I don't need to do that. Okay. And one thing I might do before I move on is just have a look and see what... So these are the system get property commands you could run with a more recent version of Java, around about Java 8. These are all the commands you could use. I'm not sure what's available with Java 1.1, so let's copy those and see if we can get any of those to run. I don't know. I don't even know if they're supported. Okay, this is the first time I'm doing it. So let's paste them in there and save it. Control S, and then Tools, Compile. My goodness, they're all there. Maybe Tools, External Tools, Run. Wow, they're all there. A lot of them are coming up as null. Version 1.1.8, that's right, the latest version of 1.1 that was for Windows. Sun Microsystems, the old Sun website. Wow, that's where it's installed, the Java home folder. Interesting, the Java home folder now points to the bin folder back then, but now it doesn't, it points to one folder back. That's interesting, and you've got to put bin on it to make it the bin folder. They're all null. The Java class path, okay, 1.1.8's added in there for the class path. They're all nulls. Operating system Windows NT, because this is long before, this version of Java was released long before Windows XP was released, so it's just recognised as NT, which is quite right. It's Windows 3 and NT merged together, Windows 95 and NT merged together. x86 is right. OS version's 5.1, which is the correct version for Windows XP. File separator, path separator, line separator. Username's Moose, yeah, that's all right. Ah, so good. So a lot of those did work, or they return null, and which is quite interesting. Wow. Okay, so I never knew they were going to be all supported. I thought, well, and they're not. Maybe they're not all supported because quite a few did return null, but at least it's not crashing or generating compile errors. Okay, so in fact, I could go through and work out which ones are nulls and comment those out. And then I'd have a list that's just Java 1.1.8 support. So it doesn't support those ones, of course, the ones that are returning null. Ah, an old SimC JIT compiler, just-in-time compiler. SimC, oh yes. Okay, back in the old days. This is back long before I started using Java. So, over 10 years before I started using Java. Okay, so I've gone through and I've commented out all the ones that return null. So I've compared to that and I've commented out all the lines that return null. So the ones that are still left are the ones that Java 1.1 supported. So I might put that up on my GitHub, so link in the description, and I'll put this file up on my GitHub just in case it's useful to someone else out there that wants to explore the early days of Java and wants to get some system properties. It'll just save you writing the code. Okay, so let's just run it and make sure, so I'll close that one. And configure tools, compile, and then tools, and run application, and there's no nulls there. Everything's great. Okay, and okay, so one other thing we might do here is turn on the hotkey so I can go Control 1 to compile and Control 2 to run. So configure preferences. Now, got to remember where you do this. Keyboard, tools, compile. I'll make compile Control 1, assign, and I don't care about applets. It's just Java applications. Control 2. I mustn't do applets from here. Control 3 for applets. And that loads it into, well, I don't know if Java had it back then, but it will load it into your web browser, the applet, or else it will load it into a special little mini browser that Java came with or comes with. I don't think it did back then in version 1.1. That was something that was added much later. So that'll probably run in, well, I've got Firefox installed in the virtual machine here, so it'll load it in Firefox. I can see the icon down there on this taskbar. So click apply. We've got Control 1, Control 2 for compile and run, and then if we want to use applets, which I don't, it'll be Control 3. So now I can go Control 1, beautiful, Control 2, wow, super fast. How's that? As quick as you can click the keys, it's compile and run. Gee, I mean Java now compiling's fast, but whew, that's fast. I mean, it's only a little program, but still, it's fast to kick off command windows and run the commands. So, yeah, well, that's it. Now we might have a look at something a bit more complicated than the Hello World program. Okay, so I've copied the linked list, one of the linked list examples I did on my channel, where I developed a simple GUI application where you could add and delete and search and through a linked list and whatever. And I've copied that to the shared folder that I'm using to connect to my VirtualBox machines, and it's OOtemp. So I've copied these the Java files in there, and there's some improv files there as well. So there's a couple of directories there, and I was actually trying to convert these when I did the Java intro recording video. I was trying to convert those to MP4 or AVI or something, and I couldn't do it. So I had to play the video, had to play the intro and record it using Camtasia. Look at the size of these, 3.21 megabytes, and the recorded Camtasia version was 300 and something megabytes. So that's why I was trying to convert these. But anyway, I couldn't do it in the end. Nothing I tried would convert these. Even internet websites that would to do with converting stuff wouldn't convert them. So I tried a lot of tools. Anyway, so let's get onto this. I'll copy that to my virtual machine, and we'll see if we can do anything with it. So I'm back to Windows XP again now. Let's go to that shared folder. Folders, my computer. There it is. There's a temp drive. The improv. Oh, yeah. Okay, there it is. And we'll copy that into my Java folder here. Copy here. So they're all there. Student email, student exception, student GUI. Now I know this is going to cause a ton of errors because it's going to cause a million errors. Okay, and I know that for a fact because this is developed using Swing. There was no Swing back in Java 1.1. When I allocate methods for buttons using the event listener, I'm using lambdas, which is for Java 1.7 or Java 7. So that's not going to work in Java 1.1. So there's going to be a million errors, and I'm going to have to recompile, change a lot of stuff. I'm not even sure if you could create your own exceptions back then. Okay, but we'll find out. And I've really got no idea. There's going to be 1,000 errors, that's all I know, but I've got really no idea how much there's going to be. Okay, Control 1, 13 errors. Yep, no Swing. Was there a linked list back then? There was no linked list. Stands to reason. So we'll have to create our own linked list from scratch then, like I've done in other videos. Okay, let's just expand that a bit and see if we can scroll through. No JFrame, of course. Extends frame. No linked list. So I might just take that out for now. Let's just see if we can get it compiling. J button's not going to work. So I'll take out the J's. So we're using the AWT components now, the old style abstract window toolkit. And I'm not using any fancy stuff for Swing in this example, so most of it should be fine. All of this stuff will be fine for sure. Just replace the J button with button, replace J text field with text field, J label with label, J text area with just text area. Take off the J's basically on both sides, over here and over here. I've commented out the linked list for now. I might just give it a, There probably wouldn't even been array lists back then. Let's make it object. Just so there's an object there, so it's not going to complain about the lack of that object being declared. Okay, let's do another compile. 9 errors, and that's all the lambdas I was talking about, linking buttons up with methods. So we're going to have to go back and do it the old-fashioned way. Okay, there was no for each loop back then. No, of course there wasn't. Okay, and okay, so a lot less errors than I thought. Okay, so let's have a look at those buttons. Okay, so let's just close that. Close the output window, maximize that to give me some working room. And let's see if I can work out how to do the buttons. So that's what the problems are now that we need to deal with. Also need to look at the linked list, but anyway, these for each loops and things. I might just comment those out for now. Add student, I'll just comment them out. Delete student, I'll just comment all the stuff inside the methods out. And edit student. Worry about all this stuff later. I'll need to develop a linked list from scratch, which I've done in another video, and might just reuse that. And edit save students. Okay, display all. Edit index. Add test data, display all. Yep, well, the default it won't work. Exit application. That should also, it won't be JFrame, will it be frame? I don't know. I might just take that out for now. It won't be JFrame because JFrames don't exist back then. So that's a swing. That's a swing. I think it might be just frame dot, maybe. I'm not sure. Okay, so I'll comment out a lot of the code here. Shall we link up the buttons? Well, I guess there's no real point. Let's do it anyway, just for fun. So I'll create a public class called action listener, implements action performed, and I will create a public, I think it's public void, action performed, and it takes an action event. It's been 10 years since I've written this code. Action event. I think it's action event, or is it just event? Event. And then you can use that event to work out what button was clicked. You can use .getSource to work out whether it was the add button or whatever. Okay, so let's just give that a try. I'll comment these out for now. JPanels. So they would have just been panels back then. Panel. I think the rest should still work. Implements action. It's not like that. What is it? I might look at my notes on that. Of course. You implement the action listener, and you call this class whatever you like, button click listener, or whatever you want to call it. And then you've got to have an action performed in there, which is a is it action event or implements action listener, listener. Oh, not public class. It's just class. It's a class within a class. You can only have one. Implements action listener. Let's just make sure we get those included. awt.event. That's looking good. Okay, so that's what we needed. So we need that sort of thing there. So now down in here we're going to go if, I think it's event.getSource is equal to the add button. In other words, they clicked add. Else if And if I click that, we want to go add student. Even though add student's not wired up, I'm just going to show you how you can do it. I mean, add student's code's all commented out. Let's display all. Else if it's the display all button, and else if it's edit. It's the edit student. Else if it's the edit save button. It's the edit save student. Else if it's the exit button. It's the exit application method. Add, display, edit, save, exit. It's looking good so far. Delete a student. Oops, that's a method. And it was delete button. And then I had a test data button as well. Add test data and add a test data button. Okay, so we've got all the buttons over here and all the methods getting called if it's that. So that should be fine. I've still got an error there. Edit index. Not found in class. Oh, because linked list is not declared. Okay, so the linked list isn't declared as a linked list. Okay, cool. So we've got a GUI that runs. Let's run it. And there's our GUI appearing. Okay, and nothing's functional because all the buttons are commented out. Test data should work. Display all won't work. Let's see if we can make this. Oh, even that's not working. Exit. Okay, exit. Oh, okay. And now. That was strange. So system.exit 0. That didn't seem to work. Oh, yeah. That's why there's no data, because add students all commented out as well. So there's not going to be any data to display. I need to wire up my linked list code from that other tutorial example and make it compatible with this. And so a little bit of work to do, and make sure everything that's needed is like the add method, and that's all implemented. Size. Make sure all the methods are implemented in my linked list class. And then it should be good to go. But a little bit of work to do. So that wasn't much work at all, really, to get it working. Had to change all the J stuff to just take off the J's for panels, buttons, text areas, text fields, labels, and so on, and the frame. And I just used the old way of wiring up buttons, which was having where is it? Here it is. A communal action listener class, and determining which button bind is, and if or an else if. You can even have separate button listener classes if you want to, but then you end up with all this extra plumbing every time you add a button. So it's usually just done in a communal one, for certainly not for serious apps anyway. Okay, so very interesting stuff. Okay, so while we're here, we might as well have a look at the Java docs, which is the online help for Java. And what we might do is just extract that out to Java docs. Yep, that looks pretty good. So we're just extracting everything out, and there should be, if I remember rightly, in the early versions of Java, there was an index file. Docs, there it is, yeah. So that just loads in your web browser, and it loads the images and other HTML and things that are in these other subfolders. Okay, so let's run the index, and that will get access to anything else that needs the API and images and whatever, other HTML, whatever, in the subdirectories. Okay, and there's the 1.1.8 JDK development kit, the Java development kit, and you can see the changes, the README, all that sort of stuff. Dear, oh dear. Okay, so how long since I run? What version of Firefox is this? Oh, 29. Okay, so my main computer's up to 82, so that's how long this Windows XP virtual machine it hasn't been connected to the internet since version 29, and it's saying it's up to date because it can't connect. This machine cannot connect to the internet, of course. Bugs. Complete class list. That's probably where I'd start. There's also already deprecated stuff back then, stuff they were phasing out that they didn't want people to use. Updating from version 1 to version 1.1. List guidelines, JDK, copyrights, and all that sort of stuff. New features, so you can see the new features there. The jar file format, Java beans. Java beans are there back then. Reflection, serialization, all those things were there back then. Wow. Yeah, the math package IO, yep. Yep, there's definitely no swing, Java swing, and there was definitely no Java FX. And things like lambdas and all that weren't there yet, and all sorts of things weren't there. This is very early stuff. I'll have a look at some look at changes. The complete class list, that's probably where I'll start. Packages, oh yeah. Be nice if they were hot links, wouldn't they? So you could click on them and go straight to the help for that. Anyway, but at least it's a list. So when I come to convert this thing fully, I know there's file writer and file reader, and there's probably buffer. Yep, buffered input stream, buffered output streams. Okay, so buffered reader, buffered writer. Okay, so file IO hasn't changed too much by the look of it, or at least the main core components haven't changed too much. Yep, so that looks fine. And is there a Java util class? Java utils? Yeah, Java util. Okay, and there was no array lists. Oh, hang on. Util. There's no array lists back then, of course. No linked lists, no queues, stacks, or anything like that. Oh, there was a stack, simple stack class. Okay, so I could even convert this example so it uses a stack, or I might just make it so it works for the arrays. I'll think about it anyway. If people want me to do a version 2 of this video where I fully convert this application to make it fully work under Java 1, then I'll look at what's available in here and see what I can do without redeveloping too much stuff. Okay, but there's this stack's an option. I could store all the data on a stack. That's fine. And yeah, not too much there. It's very sparse compared to now. This list would be 5 times the length now with a whole lot of extra stuff. Anyway, very good. That's the Java docs. Not much there. The new Java docs, when you get them in compressed HTML format, you can do searches and things. Here, if you try and do a search, it'll do a Google search, of course, but I don't want to do that because I'm not hooked up to the internet, of course. The jar file format, the math package. So how do you get to things like the help for the the help for file IO or the file reader class? Might have to delve into the folders themselves for that. The guide, beans IO, the IO class, index, character streams, change to character streams. Okay, so there's a lot more information here. Yeah, so now it's got the links so you can read further if you need to. Righto, so I'm happy with that. All good. So anyway, that's the Java docs. Pretty basic back then, very small. And of course, it's the old HTML style files, which means you can't do searching and sorting unless you use a search engine like Google. That's why the compressed help format's so much better. The good old Windows help format was beautiful, but Microsoft phased that out, and now we've got the compressed help format. Anyway. Yep, that's it for the Java docs. Okay, so that's probably enough for this video. We're up nearly to 50 minutes, so I'll end things there. That's a long enough video. I've probably already bored everybody out of their brains. This is exciting stuff to me. I love going back and exploring old compilers and old languages and old versions of languages. So I hope you've enjoyed it as well. And in this video, we've installed Java 1.1.8.10 and that's from 1997. We installed it in VirtualBox, the latest version of VirtualBox. I've upgraded mine to the latest version, which is version 6.1 point something. We set up TextPad, version 5.4.2 from 2011 to work with Java, the original Java, and it just worked beautifully, straight out of the box, nothing to change. All I had to do was assign a few hotkeys, that's all I had to do. Okay, so congratulations to the author of TextPad there, you've done a great job. And that's the version I've purchased. I think I purchased version 4 point something, but there was a free upgrade to version 5 point something. So that's the version I'm still using from 2011. It still does everything I need to do, so I haven't upgraded. Okay, so and then we did a hello world, and then we explored some getProperty commands, and then we partially converted a simple modern, and I've got modern in quotes there, Java app to the ancient version of Java. And so we just partially converted an app. We basically got the GUI running. Okay, and that's my little doggy you can hear. she's scared of the storm. There's a storm outside. She's in my arms as I do the video. Poor little doggy. Teenie Weenie, if you see my other videos, Teenie Weenie. And we also looked at the Java docs as well. So, if you want me to go all the way and completely convert that app to work with Java 1, then let me know in the comments, and if enough people say they want me to convert it, I'll go ahead and convert it, and that'll probably mean changing over to using a stack class if you want to include just built-in Java stuff, or else bring the linked list class that we developed from first principles in another Java video. We'll bring that across and get that wide up as well, okay, or instead. Okay, so there's various options there, or even just use an array. Okay, so that's it for this video. Hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have, going back and looking at the earliest version of Java that's still available. And thanks for watching. Have a nice day. So I just sort of show you my little teeny girl. She's here curled up in my arms on my desk. There's a big storm outside, lightning and thunder, just starting, rumbling, and she's really scared. So I've got my little beautiful girl here. Nothing will happen to her. I've got my arms around her. She gets really scared. So anyway, just thought I'd show you what was making the grunting and the groaning in the last part of the video. It's my little girl here. She's a funny little one. Needs a lot of love. Okay, have a nice day. Thanks for watching.